Assalamu alaikum, children. In literature today, we are continuing the chapter 3 lesson. Okay, the lesson chapter 3. Uh, so we saw that now Maggie, at the beginning of the chapter, she's getting disappointed because her father couldn't take her to fetch Tom. And then, she goes and she cries inside the attic because she's disappointed and angry. And then she meets the Luke, and with the dog, with her dog, yep, she goes inside the mill. And we get to know that mill is another world, another favorite place of hers, right? And then Maggie realizes that she didn't take enough of take care of the rabbits Tom gave her to take care, right? Tom, before he went to academy, he gave responsibility of taking care of his rabbits, but Maggie had totally forgotten about those rabbits, and now the rabbits are dead. Now Tom is coming back from the academy to home. Now Maggie is excited, also happy, excited, and anxious too, because she was afraid. Anxious means she was nervous, afraid. That she was afraid of Tom's reaction when she told about the rabbits, right? So after he comes, now I told you there's one incident here which proves that Tom loves Maggie equally as Maggie do, right? That is, he has brought two new fishing lines, which he has bought by saving his pocket money, without having any of the snacks for himself like gingerbread, chocolates, or anything like that. He had saved that pocket money not to buy one fishing line but two. He bought another one for Maggie also, right? So he wanted both of them to go together on fishing. So that is one incident which proves Tom's love to Maggie. Now today we are beginning from this page. Maggie's answer was to throw her arms around Tom's neck and hug him. But Tom soon got tired of that. "Oh, come on now," he said impatiently. "I want to see my rabbits." Maggie's heart began to flutter, and with fear. She dared not tell the sad truth at once, but she walked after Tom in trembling silence, wondering how she could best tell him the news as to soften his sorrow and his anger. Maggie dreaded Tom's anger more than anything. "Tom," she said timidly, "how much money did you give for your rabbits?" "Two half-crowns and a sixpence." "I think I have got more than that in my purse upstairs. I'll ask mother to give it to you." "What for?" said Tom. "I don't want your money, you silly thing. I have got a great deal more money than you, because I am a boy." "Well, but Tom, if mother would let me give you two half-crowns and a sixpence out of my purse to put into your pocket and spend, you could buy some more rabbits with it." "More rabbits? I don't want any more." "Oh, but Tom, they are all dead," wailed Maggie. Tom stopped immediately in his walk and turned towards Maggie. "You forgot to feed them," he said, his face going red with anger. "All right then, Maggie, you shan't go fishing with me tomorrow. I told you to go and see the rabbits every day." He walked on again. "Yes, but I forgot, and I couldn't help it. Indeed, Tom, I am very sorry," said Maggie while the tears rushed out. "You are a naughty girl," said Tom severely, "and I'm sorry I bought you the fishing line. I don't love you." So now Tom, he immediately wanted to go and see his rabbits. He was impatient, right? So now Maggie, she started to, fear, and she started to be scared. She didn't know how to break this news to her brother. So first of all, she started, calmly. She asked like, "What is the price of those rabbits?" And she suggested that she would give that amount, two pence, and yeah, right. The amount for that rabbits he bought is two half-crowns and a sixpence. That is a Britain coins money. Okay. So now Tom is puzzled. He's confused. Why Maggie wants to give him money? He has rabbits. Why does he want more rabbits? Then she reveals that they are all dead, and Tom realizes that Maggie has forgot to feed them. Now here another quality of Maggie is being revealed, that I said you this before also. Maggie is forgetful. She forgets things, right? Now he gets angry. right? He gets angry. Now Maggie asks sorry, but he gets angry and he's saying he won't take her for the fishing line, he won't take her fishing. And and he's sorry that he bought the fishing line, and he says that he doesn't love her. She has become a naughty girl, so Tom doesn't love her, he says that. Moving on. "Oh, Tom, it's very cruel," said Maggie. "I would forgive you if you forgot anything. I wouldn't mind what you did. I would forgive you and love you." Shaken with sobs, she clung to his arm and laid her wet cheek on his shoulder. "Oh, please forgive me, Tom. My heart will break." But Tom shook her off and said again, "You're a naughty girl and you shan't go fishing tomorrow." With the terrible conclusion, he ran away from Maggie towards the mill. Maggie stood motionless except for her sobs for a minute or two. Then she turned around and ran into the house and up to her attic, where she sat on the floor and laid her head against a shelf with a crushing sense of misery. What use was anything if Tom didn't love her? Oh, he was very cruel. Hadn't she wanted to give him money and said how very sorry she was? She had never meant to be naughty to him. "Oh, he is cruel," Maggie sobbed aloud. She cried for a long time and soon thought it she had been hours in the attic. It must be tea time and they were all having their tea and not thinking of her. Well, then, she would stay up there and starve herself, and then they would all be frightened and Tom would be sorry. But Tom had been too much interested in talking to Luke. But yeah, but Tom had been too much interested in Luke to think of Maggie and the effect his anger had produced on her. When he went in for his tea, his father said, "Why, where's the little lass?" said Mrs. Tulliver. Almost at the same moment, said, "Where's your little sister?" Both of them thought that Maggie and Tom had been together all the afternoon. So now Tom gets so angry. She asks for the forgiveness, right? She asks for her forgiveness, pleads with him to forgive her, right? She's crying now, she's sobbing. So Tom is shaking her off and saying that they won't go fishing tomorrow. That means he won't go fishing tomorrow with him. Right. So now he goes away and Maggie, she runs to the attic. That is her favorite private place. She goes there and starts to sob. So she says, she thinks that if Tom had done something like that, she thinks that she would have forgiven him. So why can't he forgive me? I just forgot that. So she's thinking all this and she's crying for a long time. Then after about several hours, she starts to realize that no one had come to see her because it is almost tea time and maybe all of them are having their tea with not calling her. So now Tom, he did not even think about her that afternoon because he was too interested in talking to Luke. He was talking to Luke, right? So when he went in for his tea inside the house only, he remembered about his sister when his parents asked from him because they thought that Maggie is also with Tom. "I don't know," said Tom. He was angry with Maggie, but he didn't want to tell tales about her naughtiness. "Hadn't she been playing with you all this time?" said his father. "I haven't seen her for 2 hours," answered Tom, beginning onto a piece of plum cake. "Goodness me, she's been drowned!" exclaimed Mrs. Tulliver, rising from her seat and running to the window. "No, no, no, she's not doomed," said Mr. Tulliver. "I expect you have been unkind to her, Tom, haven't you?" "I'm sure I haven't, father. I think she is in the house." "Perhaps she is up in the attic," said Mrs. Tulliver. "Go and fetch her down, Tom," said Mr. Tulliver rather sharply, for he suspected that the lad had been hard on the little one, or she would never have left his side. "And be good to her, do you hear?" Tom never disobeyed his father, but he went out rather sulkily, carrying his piece of plum cake. So now his father orders Tom. So first of all, his father thinks that maybe Tom has, been angry, like, said something to Maggie. That's why she's not there during the tea time also. So Tom's father orders Tom to go and find Maggie and bring her here. So she he has sorry Tom has never disobeyed his father, so he takes his plate of the plum cake and he goes up to the attic, right? When Maggie heard Tom's footsteps on the stairs, her heart began to beat violently with hope. But he only stood at the top of the stairs and said, Maggie, you are to come down. She rushed to him and clung around his neck, sobbing. Oh, Tom, please forgive me. I can't bear it. I will always be good. I will never forget anything again. Please love me, dear Tom. And Tom, forgetting his determination to punish her as much as she deserved, actually kissed her and said, Don't cry then, Maggie. Here, eat a bit of a cake. Maggie's sobs grew less and she put out her mouth for the cake and bit a piece. And then Tom bit a piece just for company and they ate together and rubbed each other's cheeks and noses together while they ate, just like two friendly ponies. Come along, Maggie, and have tea, said Tom at last, when there was no more cake left except what was downstairs. And so the sorrows of that day were ended, and the next morning Maggie was trotting with her own fishing rod. Okay, so in this page, now in the next paragraph, they are saying now soon after Maggie hears Tom's footsteps on the stairs for the attic, she rushes outside and she hugs Tom and she cries and pleads for his forgiveness. So immediately Tom, forgets about his anger and his determination to punish her and hugs her back and kisses her. Right. So now he forgets about all that and they start to feed the plum cake for each other. Piece by piece, they start to feed each other the plum cake. And now after the plum cake finished, after they finish eating the plum cake, Ikap, sorry, Tom says Maggie to come downstairs to have the tea, right? So they move downstairs happily. Now they are again back together in talking terms, and the next morning both of them are going together to do fishing, right? Hand and the handle of the basket in the other, always stepping in the muddiest places by mistakes, completely happy because Tom was good to her. She had told Tom, however, that she would like him to put the worms on the hook for her, although she accepted his word when he assured her that worms couldn't feel. It was Tom's private opinion that it hadn't much matter if they did. It was one of their happy mornings. They trotted along and sat down together with no thought that life would ever change much for them. They, they would only get bigger and not go to school, and it would always be like the holidays. They would always live together and be fond of each other. Life did change for Tom and Maggie, and yet they were not wrong in believing that the thoughts and loves of these first years would always make part of their lives. What novelty is worth, that sweet monotony where everything is known and loved because it is known. Now they're talking about the happy memories between the siblings, between the two sisters, the sister and the brother. Now they in the next morning they both went fishing happily, and Maggie was she was so happy that Tom was talking to her again, right? And they both were sitting on the river and they were fishing, and here the author has given a note. These moments they had in the childhood, this is their childhood, this is where they enjoy, right? So these moments, these memories in the childhood were to be cherished, right? Tom and Maggie's childhood memories were to be cherished because don't know in the future, the author is giving us a hint here that there might be different difficult paths and difficult moments for these two, where there would be separations, tears, sorrow, right? Betrayal, hurt, so many things would happen in the future for both of them. But right now all the childhood memories are the ones that need to be cherished, right? According to that is about Tom and Maggie. So that is all what I have talked about in chapter 3, right? Do the questions I have sent you regarding the chapter 3. Thank you children. Assalamu alaikum.